And the example we have here are that what must be added to the following to make them perfect squares. Then let's look at number one example here. If you look at this one now, it is y squared plus 6y. Then you are expected in this number one to divide the coefficient of y, not y squared. Divide the coefficient of y, which is 6 by 2, and square the result. Then let's look at how it's going to look like. If I'm going to take my 6 and divide it by 2, then I square the result. Let's see, if you divide 6 by 2, the answer is going to be 3. Then 3 square, it is going to be what? 9. That means our number one now, it is going to be plus 9. So this particular 9 that I've added, make this number one to be a perfect square. Y square plus 6y plus 9 is now perfect squares. Because the question is what must be added to make them perfect squares. Let's look at number 2. If I pick number 2, working it aside, I have x squared minus 10x, then you divide the coefficient of x by 2 and square the result. And that's going to be 10 over 2. 10 over 2, you square the result. And if you divide 10 by 2, you will have 5. Then 5 square, it is going to be 25. That is going to be 5 times 5 is 25. And you come and add what? That 25. That 25 makes this particular number 2 to be a perfect square. Let's look at number 3. Number 3, we have two things. We have to at least redress or make some simplification before we go ahead to divide the coefficient of d and then square the result. We have like, if I'm going to rewrite this one out, I will write it like in this form. This is going to be, we divide by 2. Divide through by 2 so that the coefficient of d square will be 1. So if I'm going to divide, I will have d square. This 2d divided by 2, it will be d square. Then 3d divided by 2, it will be minus 3 all over 2d. Then I'm going to take the coefficient of d now and divide it by 2 and square the result. Let's take the coefficient of d, which is 3 over 2. Divided it by 2 and squaring the result, we will have this one. This is a fraction, so the second one should be written like 2 all over 1 in order to balance the fraction. So we now divide it by 2. Dividing it, that is going to be 3 all over 2. Instead, we write times in place of division. Times 1 all over 2. Anything that we are going to get from this particular bracket, we are going to square the result. That's easy. And what next? So we have 3 times 1, which is 3, all over 2 times 2, which is 4. Squaring the result, we will have 2 up there. 3 square is the same thing as 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is what? It's 9. Then 4 times 4 is what? It's 16. You come and add it here. You add it now, you will have plus 9 all over 16. The same thing, we have to redress number 4. Let's redress number 4. And that is going to be 3 m squared plus, instead of mixed number, let's write in proper form. Let's write this particular mixed numbers in improper form. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. And we are going to write 3 all over 2. What? M. Then let's divide coefficient of m squared by 3 in order to make the coefficient of the square to be 1. And that is going to be the same thing as writing it as, if you divide this 3m squared by 3, I will have m squared. if I divide 3 over 2 by 3, then you will have like plus 3 all over 2. Let's work it roughly aside. Let's work it roughly aside. If I'm dividing by 3 all over 2 by 2, dividing this 3 all over 2 over 3 over 3. So by 3, divide 3 all over 2 by 3. Before we come and divide by 2 again. And this is going to be divide that 3 over 2 divided by 3 all over 1. That is a mix, that is a fraction, and we have to put the fraction on the other side in order to balance it. And that is going to be 3 all over 2 times 1 all over 3. And if we do that, we are going to have 3 times 1, 3 times 1, although this 3 now will cancel this one, and we will have 1 all over 2. So 1 over 2. That's 1 over 2 if we divide it again by 2, because we are dividing the coefficient of this particular number by 2 and squaring the result. And we have divided by 3 now. We are going to divide by 2 again and square the result. Let's divide by 2. By 2 all over 1. All over 1, then we square the result. Anything I get there, I will square the result. So I'll still turn it upside down. 1 over 2 times 3, 1 all over 2. So if I square the result now, I will have 1 times 1, which is 1. All over 2 times 2, it is what? 4. If you square this result, you will have the same thing as 1 all over 16. Because 1 times 1 is 1, and then 4 times 4 is 16. Then you come and add it to this particular form, and then you add it to this particular expression, and that's going to be 1 all over 16. 1 all over 16. And that's it. Thank you.